this part of land, where the British entrenchments, or British line is there, has just recently been acquired by Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. And there may be, Ralph, vestigial remnants of the entrenchments there. By the time the Army got to Upper Marlborough, the flotilla had retreated as far as it could. 2 of the vessels made it to a town called Queen Anne's, but the rest of them were not far from Upper Marlborough. And on August 22nd, 1814, as the British rounded Pig Point, just downriver, they saw the American fleet, 17 warships and 15 merchantmen lined up in a row. One by one, exploded and sunk, as they came on with their cannons fired. The Army retreated. The flotilla joined the Army, 500 of them, with the U.S. Marines from Washington came down under Captain Sam Miller, and 120 Marines under Barney's command, and they all retreated to Bladensburg, where the Battle of Bladensburg was fought, the Bladensburg races. We lost that battle. But it was the flotilmen and U.S. Marines who did yeoman duty. Even Maryland's best, the Baltimore regiments, fled the field. The flotilmen, however, alone with the Marines, held off the British for 3 sequential charges. And it was an enormous amount. They ran out of ammunition. The Marines actually charged the British, yelling, "Board 'em," and drove them back a little bit. 73 Marines against the British Army. But it was hopeless. Barney was wounded and would eventually die of his wound in Pittsburgh. The rest is history, of course. The capital of the United States was captured and fell and burned. Dolly Madison, of course, saved some of the things from the White House, but it was a humiliating defeat. The flotilmen, however, didn't give in. They marched to Baltimore. They were put under the command of Captain Porter, David Porter, and at Baltimore, it was the flotilmen who manned the Lazaretto opposite Fort, the city battery opposite Fort McHenry. They manned the rest of the fleet lined up below across the entrance to the Patapsco Basin. They manned the guns at the river battery at Fort McHenry. And they manned the battery Babcock, which drove back a British attack on the flank of the fort. It was the flotilmen's guns who kept the British at bay. No disparagement on Armistead or the other heroes of Fort McHenry. But it was the flotilmen's guns who did this. And today, of course, we commemorate our Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem, having been born here. But it's the flotilmen who never get a fair shake in this. We are in the process now of trying to raise funds to erect a memorial to the United States Chesapeake Flotilla. Almost 1,000 men who fought in these 1- and 2-gun vessels to take on the Royal Navy, and doing so successfully in defending our nation and our country throughout the state of Maryland. And if you are interested, we have a little pot out there if you'd like to put some money in. And I will talk about it later at Jefferson Patterson Park, one of the sites that we're looking at for this. The Battle of St. Leonard Creek was pivotal in many ways. The flotilla was the magnet which kept the British away from other places for 3 months of the summer campaign in 1814. The flotilla served as the excuse for the British to come into the Patuxent. It was the flotilla concept which was a failure, where our small navy was devastating the British on the high seas. It proved once and for all that we could not rely on a brown water coastal defense fleet. The United States Navy had to be an offensive blue water force, and as such, this was pivotal. The defense of the Patuxent and the Chesapeake also initiated a program in the United States government for coastal defense. That coastal defense resulted in the building of coastal fortifications that were pivotal to the subsequent war that would devastate the United States of America, the Civil War. But we're going to be visiting the site of St. Leonard's, the Battle of St. Leonard's, and Benedict, and both John and I will be available for any questions you might have, and we'll elucidate further on this. I thank you all very much.